morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, the day's support, resistance and pivot levels and the Fibonacci's. It is Thursday, the 11th of March. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, it's bearish start to the day. Going to see Bitcoin avoid a fall through the pivot at 55,528 to take a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 57,901. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break back through to 57,000 levels and break out from yesterday's high, 57,444. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 58,000 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, we've got February's swing high 58,321.2 and resistance at 59,000 to come into play. Second major resistance level sits at 59,817. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 53,612 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub 52,000 levels. Second major support level sits at 51,239. Looking at the MACD, we have a widening of the bearish histogram after yesterday's late bearish cross, supporting this early morning pullback. On the EMAs, the 50 has also flattened on the 200 and the 100, suggesting a slight pullback through the morning. So key through the early part of the day, avoid a fall through the pivot at 55,528 and break back through to 57,000 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, also bearish start this morning. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot at 1810 to take a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 1864. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break out from 1850 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, they expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 1900 to cap any upside. Event of an extended rally, should see Ethereum test resistance at 1950 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1933. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1741 into play. Barring an extended sell on the day, Ethereum should avoid the second major support level at 1688. Looking at the MACD, we have a widening of the bearish histograms after yesterday's bearish cross, supporting this early morning pullback. On the EMA, the 50 has narrowed marginally on the 100 and the 200, also a bearish signal. So keep through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 1810 and back through to 1850 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, also bearish. Going to need to see Litecoin move back through the pivot at 200 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 208. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break out from 205 levels. Barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 208 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, you could see Litecoin test resistance at 220 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 217. Failure to move back through the pivot at 200 would bring the 23.6% fib at 195 and the first major support level at 192 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should stay clear of second major support level at 183. Looking at the MACD, we've got a widening of the bearish histogram after yesterday's late bearish cross, supporting this pullback. On the EMA, the 50 has narrowed marginally on the 100 and the 200, also a bearish indicator. So keep through the early part of the day, move back through the pivot at 200 and break back through to 205 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will be in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, also bearish this morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the 38.2% fib at 0.4632 and the pivot level at 0.4687 to bring the first major resistance level at 0.4823 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.47 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 0.49 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ripple's XRP test resistance at 0.50 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.5022. Failure to move back through the 38.2% fib and the move through the pivot level at 0.4687 would bring the first major support level at 0.4488 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.43 levels. The second major support level at 0.4353 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACD, we have a widening of the bearish histogram supporting this early morning pullback. On the EMA, also bearish indicator with the 50 closing in on the 100 and the 200, suggesting further downside ahead. So keep through the early part of the day, move back through the 38.2% fib and move through the pivot at 0.4687 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, then support levels will be in play.